Hello everyone, I'm Kira, a pet and animal portrait artist, and today we're going to be getting back on track with part 4, I think it's part 4 anyway, of this lovely little lion cub. So I think we should get straight into it. So I hope that you are all enjoying this tutorial so far. Today I think we're going to just get back into this ear again and continue adding some more fur direction and whatnot to it, and we'll just kind of see where we get to. I'm going to start on my 6H, and we're just kind of go around this bit here with our 6H. Very lightly, and you're just going to leave a ring around the edge. So these are very, very short hair strokes, and we're going to want to bring those down quite a bit. I'm just trying to look up where the different structures are in the ear. So we're going to want to bring those down to about there. And we're doing them in the left-hand direction, if that makes sense. But we're doing very, very short strokes. Just check I've got the right, yeah, I've got 6H. And then we're just going to kind of turn them more upright as we get towards the top. So if you can tell, we're turning them more in a like upwards direction as we're getting closer to the top. Now this looks way too dark now, we will lighten it. And like I said, we are going to have to go back in and darken absolutely everything anyway. So we're just going to add it in for now. Right. So we just want to pay very close attention to what's going on. So over here, we can bring the fur that's going in that left-hand direction, we can bring it further in. Kind of like in little layers almost. Like so, because it goes all the way in here. Just don't want to bring it so low down. And it kind of almost comes to the darkest bit of the ear. But yeah, I was looking at it and I'm like, we've got so much darkening to do, and I just don't know when I want to be able to do that, if that makes sense. Because it's quite a big task. But anyway, we're just going to keep extending that in. We're not going to worry about how dark it is at the moment. We're just going to try and sketch in and join it up to that bit. So it can come all the way around here, like so. Maybe we might try and do some of the darkening today. I think that might be quite a nice idea. But then it won't look like we've done very much, so I'm not sure. And it always looks darker on camera than it is in person. And I swear I say that every time, but I really do mean it. Right, so we're just going to do like a little triangle here that we're going to extend down. So it's just kind of like a little triangle of hair there, like that. Then we're just going to add some more shadow in here. Still using our 6H, because it is a very good pencil. Now, what I want to try and do next is also sketch in some of that fur direction there that's coming right off of the dark bit, which we are going to fill in today. And hopefully when we fill that in, that will kind of give us a lot more, like, proportion, I guess. Knowing how much we need to darken the other bits as well. Getting a cramp in my hand already. And then here, kind of like, I need the Tombow. I need to rub that out a bit, because we've got come a bit far down with it. So here we've got the bit of the ear there, and we've got like that bit there. We almost need like the bit that comes in. I'm just kind of like refining the sketch right now. And then off of the bit that comes in, we have a big dark bit. Sort of goes from like there upwards like that, and that'll be one of the really dark bits. Honestly, I think what we should just do is go in and start adding darkness to the really dark bit. I'm going to start with the 2B. And like, I can't see any fur texture actually in it, so yeah, there's no fur texture in the dark bit, so we're just going to literally shade it in nice and dark. So I'm just going around the outline to start with. And then I'm just going to use little circular strokes to fill it in with the 2B. But yeah, I think we are just going to do another sort of hour on this today. I'm a bit hesitant to make the parts longer than an hour because they do take a while to upload. If you want them to upload like good quality, they do take a while to upload. So if you notice ages between uploads and whatever, it's because these tutorials do take quite a lot of editing and time to actually, when you finish editing, get them on the platform to go through all of their checks and everything. So I've got to try not to put my head in the light this time because that's what I kept doing last time. Seems to have gone really dark in here. Right, honestly, I think we are just going to go straight in with the black Polychromo because this section here is incredibly dark and I don't think we need to faff around darkening it gradually when we know it's dark. So we might as well just darken it all in one go, if that makes sense. And we'll add back in that lightness at the top with some white pencils later. Just trying to keep it reasonably sharp. And it kind of puts into proportion how dark that bit is there, and that actually we don't really need to lighten it, and also how much darker we need to make all of this. So I think we might, maybe, we'll see. And then after we darkened all the face, then we can literally just call the face done. Right, how is that looking? Still not looking very even, is it? I think I might just go over that. I think I might just go over that with a 6B. Just to try and smooth out. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're not doing that. I'm gonna go back in with the black, as I think it might have been the best bet after all. It's very different what I'm seeing on camera to what I'm seeing from the angle I'm actually working on it from. I feel like that's one of the hardest parts about filming. It's getting better gradually. I think I am just going to get, because it is really dark, some of those darks, I'm going to be using the ivory black from the Derwent drawing. just to kind of sort it out a little bit. And this is one of the blackest blacks you can get. Like, I don't know a black that is darker than this. Wow, that is really dark. I think we'll just leave it like that with that one, and then just touch up a bit as we go along. Right, now we are gonna get our, grab our 6H again and continue adding some of this fur direction out here. So this hair is pointing sort of downwards, and then up above that it points to the left. I'm using very, very short strokes. And then here kind of goes behind it and just continues going out left. Like so. And then we've got like a dark bit that comes off this hair, which we're just trying to extend into the hair. And then off this bit, it sort of goes in a more upwards direction. Like so. And then I'm just going to continue darkening that off. Right, next I think we are just going to bring down this here. Using really light pressure just to bring it down. And then here, so you've got the bit that kind of goes off. It's kind of a case of trying to work around it. Let's just figure out where we are. That kind of went off the ear a little bit. There we go. But yeah, I think that ear really brings into perspective how dark we do need to make this. Okay, I think that darkness needs to start higher up, like there, because you've got that little strip. You've got that little strip there that kind of fans out, and then we're just going to shade back around it. Then we have like another little strip in there. So you just want to get some nice darks in there. That little triangle there. Now, with this, I'm not like following it exactly, so it might look slightly different from the picture. I'm just sort of using the picture as like more of a rough guide of where the shadows and the lights and everything needs to be. You know, every detail doesn't need to be completely exact. And then I've got a bit under that one there that I think should be like that. I feel like it's just kind of a case of darkening where you think needs to be darkened and look a lot better when it's blended, I think. And then we're just adding, still using the 6H, dark strips, like little dark strokes just to kind of fan out under there. It can kind of make you realise how much darker all of that actually does need to be. I'm just going to keep darkening it. And then I think we'll go back in. Still using the 6H. Just starting to add some more of that darkness to the face. And just into the darkest areas. Like that. And then we need some more darkness over here. Keeps moving my paper when I lean on it. A little bit frustrating. And then it also kind of shows how this in here needs to be a bit darker too. I think we'll go in and add a lot of the details on this ear with our white pencils, just because I think that is going to be one of the easier ways to do it. You've got like a dark bit that comes out of there. And like up there. And because it is so dark, I am just gonna grab the black Polychromo and add to that little speck there. And add there. And then I think we need to blend that back in with a 2B. I'm just showing where all of the dark bits are. And then we'll blend the 2B out. Blend the 2B out with the 2H. Because that has gone a bit. A little bit overboard. So we are back to our 6H now. Right. Yeah, we're just gonna casually just build up a little bit of that darkness there. Still got a little way to go with all this darkness though. So I think that whole patch there needs to be darkened just in general. Even the lighter bits. And then we can go back in, I think. And then we will add all of the lighter bits back in. But it really does just need that darkness to be added in a lot more than it currently is. Maybe we'll do the darkening over a couple of episodes, because I think it also would be fun to get working on some new bits as well. Not just all of this darkening. It's very difficult to darken this bit because the fur direction is quite tricky. So I'm just trying to blend it in very slowly with very soft strokes that are quite short. But up here could also be a bit darker. And then this will be kind of like the light base colour that we had before, and we'll go on top and add even more of the dark details back in. So it kind of seems a bit silly to be darkening it because we're getting rid of all the details and then having to add them back in, but I think that's just one thing about this, is it's really good for building up. Now I do want to leave a little section there that is quite light. And you see where I'm just like leaving a circle. And we're going to shade in all around it, but we're not actually going to shade that part in because that bit is light, so it needs to stay like that. And it's looking a lot darker already. It does need more blending out though because of it, but we can do that in a bit. I think while we're at it, we'll just darken up along this little strip as well. I suppose I am just avoiding that area, aren't I? Just a bit. It'll have to be done eventually though, so I won't be able to avoid it forever. And that bit there is quite tricky. Just gonna go in, sketch in, still with R6H, some little pointy strokes coming off of it, to sort of kind of blend it in a bit, I suppose. Right, because that can go like that in a very upwards direction. Yep. Like that. It's got like a little line across there. Like so. Okay, so now just have a little break from all that darkening. I think we are going to go in and just add in some of the detail that is not on the nose and the bit above it. The bit that I've been avoiding a little bit. We'll just go in and we'll just start and we'll just add some fur direction here and there. So when it's coming off the nose, using the 6H by the way, just want to make sure that I've got the nose in there fine, and then the hair that is coming off the nose is in a very curved, very curved. And I think I'm going to find the photo where I've actually got all of the, all of the arrows labelled on it that I showed last time. Just got to go very slowly. So what I like to do is when I'm working on bits that are very difficult, I like to sort of build out from the edges to create the kind of fur direction that I'm looking for. So we are just going to be building it out very slowly from the edges. So I think that's the best way to do it. There should be like sort of like a little line. So this bit here curves upwards directly and ends up quite straight, and then this bit here goes from like that direction. To kind of more upwards direction. Yep, like that. Right, I'm just gonna go in and just re-sketch in the little bit of that. You kind of just need it to blend off as one though. Right, we can do this bit here. This is very, very nerve-wracking. I can already tell I'm going to have to go back in and fix the nose because I'm not happy with how it is looking. But I just got to keep... There's kind of like a little diagonal line. So I'm just going to like try and follow that a bit. Like so. Just need to be using very short strokes. I feel like the ones I've been using have almost been a bit too long. And they definitely need some blending. Now this bit here is relatively okay because it all just feeds up into that bit. So, and now we just want to make sure that these are joining properly. Like that. Right, okay, I'm back. I've just gone and grabbed a cotton bud to blend this bit out because I realised I didn't have one. And I think it will look better once it's blended out because this bit needs to be a lot softer than it is right now. I think it will just really benefit just to blend all of that out really nicely like that. And now I'm going to take my 6H again and I want to try and add some of that around the other eye. Oh, the paper's moving. Because it's also got the little like white bit around the eye. I wanna imply that. I'm using kind of like dots right now. Right, there we go. Then I just wanna sketch in some hair like this. And that will make the face look a bit more balanced. I don't know why I feel the need to whisper. I think it's just because I'm working so small. Almost would have been easier if it were bigger. I need to take that around the side a bit. It's kind of like those kind of strokes and like that sort of direction, if that makes sense. And do need to bring it around quite a lot and bring it out more down there. Like so, because it's kind of got like a poof of hair sticking out. And just need to make it a bit more rounded around that bit, not so pointy. Anyway, that needs to be a lot darker, but that is a lot better for now. Now, I'm just gonna go in and try to add that sort of diagonal line that we're seeing. I'm gonna try and add that in a little bit. Because it's darker below that line. I don't really know how to explain because I'm sort of doing the same thing I've been doing this whole time. But I'm sure with time I will get better at explaining. Alright, so now we're transitioning into the pieces of hair that come off here that are quite curved. So we're going from sort of like an outwards direction to a down, just to join them together. We also want that bit down the edge like that. Okay. And again, blend that. Perfect. Now I think what I also would quite like to do while I'm at it, it's kind of just a bit of everything today I suppose, is lighten this line here. Oh, we've gone a bit blurry there. There we go. Just lighten that line a bit there. Because I think it'd be quite nice to add some extra bits to the neck as well, just to spice it up a bit. So I've switched to the 2H now, because this bit is considerably darker. I'm just trying to follow the hairline, which isn't always the easiest. Like I say in every video, say if you don't have a 6H you can use a 2H, but you can use it very lightly. Just make do with the supplies that you have, really, is my biggest piece of advice. You don't need to go out and buy loads. I'm just using what I have available to me. I've done drawings before where I could have used a 6H, but I didn't have one at the time, so I didn't. And it still turned out perfectly fine. I just lightened it a lot. Just trying to concentrate a bit. That bit is dark. as you come into down here, I think we'll switch to a 4H, so it's still darker than the 6H. But I think it will just help get a nicer, more even blend between the two. I think I might just add some there as well. Just to try and blend it a little bit, really. And then take our cotton bud and just blend that very well, especially like where it's the two bits joining into each other, which we will have to make a smoother blend later on. But right, I think we'll use the 6H again. So it's kind of moving into sort of like a downwards. Kind of, I think we'll take it to that point there. But as you can see, that bit up there does need to be a lot darker. It's just a case of we do have to be quite gradual. I think with the other darker bits we will start with the 6H because it's very difficult to start with the 2B. Well, that looks like still, oh dear, apologies, it keeps going out of focus. But yeah, that's not the easiest part to do. Alright, we will just extend this out a bit more. Again, very lightly. Really light pressure on this neck, especially on this bit that sort of looks a bit like white fur. We just want to be very light and very flicky. And we can always go back and lighten it and darken it later. Alright, so I think I'm going to just do this bit here as well. I'm starting with the 2H still, just because it makes it easier to all blend it out in the end. We're just going to join those two bits together. Darkening it. And this bit up here actually needs to be a bit darker as well. I'm just going to darken that just a tad while we have an opportunity to. Because if we have an opportunity, we might as well take it. Right. Blend with the cotton bud again. I think this bit we're going to lighten this bit needs to stay dark. We're gonna let it stay dark. But just to blend it in a bit more, we're just gonna add some little strokes, and I think that's also quite a good way of lightening it. And it also, as well as lightening it, is adding more texture in. So I think that's going to be a good way to blend those two bits in together as well. Right, this bit's quite dark here as well, but it is very fine strokes, and then still very fine. In that sort of direction. Still using the 6H because I do think it is better to build up gradually. And blend that with the cotton bud. And so that has got a lot of darkening and whatever to do at some point, and it does look kind of strange at the moment, but I think it's fine. I think what we will do is just darken this a bit more. So to darken this a bit more, I'm going to go in with the 4H because the 6H just isn't doing it enough. And then we're going to use this to start adding more of these back in as well. And also that bit up there. It still needs a lot of work. A lot of work. Darken that bit there. And then there's a darker bit here as well. Just like straight above all of those. And then I think I'm going to use very light flowy strokes. To try and darken a bit down there. also think under there. Could use a bit as well. Right, where else needs it? Here. Sorry, I went quiet for a minute then. But I'm just trying to kind of go over the bits and figure out where needs darkening. It's a little dark bit around there like that. Still using the 4H to go in and add more darkness and whatever. I still really want to darken that bit there, but it just doesn't want to. That bit above there. And then I think we'll just blend out what we did in the ear today. And blend out there. Basically blending out any bits where we added. And I think what will help here to darken it is adding like little speckly bits to show the speckles in the fur. Yeah. I'm liking that. And then that's a bit in the leg. But darkening all these bits is going to allow us to like do a lot more with it, I think. I'm just kind of going over that middle bit as well a lot because that bit is likes to be quite a bit darker. And then I think what we might do is grab our 6H back and continue sort of this really light bit here until the edge. So I'm just gonna, and then just gonna continue this out, fanning it right up until the edge. I'm gonna have to lighten it again after though, of course. No, I feel like there's a little divide in the hair there, so I'm just gonna try and show that with a bit of darkness. Like so. So after we've blended that out, we're just going to go back in with the Tombow Mono to keep adding in the hair direction back in. And I think that would be a good place to leave it for today. We've still got some darkening and everything to do on the face and some finishing up of some little bits. But I'm quite liking how we're doing it very gradually and not just doing it all in one go. I just wanna, there we go. So I think for now, for today, for this part, whatever, we're just gonna call this little line curve finished, and I really do hope to see you in the next part, which will be part 5 of this adorable little guy. If you guys have any name suggestions or piece suggestions, like names for the piece, then do let me know in the comments. And I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for following along with me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!